It's a huge relief that you made it so far in an industry which is extremely competitive. I think people didn't expect. First of all, they didn't expect me to be in this film because I didn't talk about it, and that was a kind of a surprise.
Salman Khan film and an Emraan Hashmi film, they're like
Chalk and
supposedly
cheese.
two different universes.
I was wearing my mask, but that time we were in this full throttle into COVID, and I removed my mask and I saw an expression change, and he's like, it's like a very soft face, and this characters of Atish, and you want to play the antagonist. You mind if we do a few look tests? There's a guarantee. There's a certain audience will come, but at the same time, it's a trap. I think that's a deadly combination. You have a love story, a thriller, you have great music. It being thrust upon me because I think I looked kind of unconventional. So there was born this very different kind of character or characters on screen that suited me, suited I guess my looks and my personality. Feel that there's a certain enigma to you if you keep yourself exclusive to films when they come out and constantly blasting yourself through all these avenues into people's homes every day, day after day, diligently. What is the appeal? There's some actors that you just can feel comfortable talking about anything, and Salman is that.
It's been 20 years since he's been entertaining audiences with multiple blockbuster films, and he has made a brand new venture this time with Tiger 3. I'm talking about Emraan Hashmi, the latest entrant into the YRF spy universe. Hi Emraan, welcome to Midday.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations. Footpath released 2003 and this is 2023 we're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you celebrate these milestones? 20 years in the industry, does it mean a lot?
I don't generally celebrate it, but yeah, it's great. It's a huge validation. It's a huge relief that you made it so far in an industry which is extremely competitive. And it's, every year, you want to just do your best, churn out some good films that the audience enjoys. But, it's a tough task.
Yeah.
But you got to, keep putting that work. And thankfully, 20 years, been tough, but been a lot of fun also.
When you say tough, when you hit those tough times, what motivates you?
I think you have to take it back to the basics of your love for the craft. If you only going to be in this line for the successes, for the glamour, for the glitz, I think your shelf life will be very limited. If you go back to the basics of your performing to play your characters to the fullest, to entertain your audiences, that being the primary goal, in your films, then I think that's mission accomplished for you, because everything will follow. If your primary goal is to entertain them and put your best foot forward through your characters and through the hard work that you do in your films, and to always have a novel approach to give the audience something new each time, I think the fame, the money, and all that is a byproduct of all that.
So talking about giving the audience something new each time, is Tiger 3 that film?
That it's my kind of first outing in this franchise, in the spy universe, and I would say like an espionage film. I've never done a character like this. Atish is one of a kind character that I've never played in this space, in this genre. It's been a fun ride. It's been extremely unique, and that's the reaction I'm getting from the audience. Even the look, the visual look of the character. That's something people didn't expect. First of all, they didn't expect me to be in this film because I didn't talk about it, and that was a kind of a surprise for the audience. But that was by design.
There was a lot of build-up, though. Kind of people had an inkling, and they're like, "Oh, really? This is going to be a really exciting one."
Yes.
And you know what? As an audience, also, a Salman Khan film and an Emraan Hashmi film, they're like
Chalk and
supposedly
cheese.
two different universes. So were you like curious to see how your fans react to you coming into this?
No, I think the reactions were very strong. People loved it. People loved the whole introduction of the character in the trailer. That voiceover to the reveal of the antagonist.
Yes.
People found that very impactful.
Yes.
And finally the film also. People just loved the fact that Atish had this backstory of why he becomes the character he does.
Right.
people found that really interesting.
Right, right. I was reading somewhere you had to audition for this role. There were like several look
Yeah, I
tests,
know.
etc.
Yeah.
Okay, can you just tell us what that process was like?
So I got a message from Shanu Sharma, who is the casting head at YRF. She said that, "Why do you want to come and meet Manish in YRF?" I was like, "Of course." Came. I thought it was some film like Bandra, but when I came here, I was pleasantly surprised. First of all, for him being given the opportunity to direct this, which I found very interesting. And then he said, "Then listen, we have this role of the antagonist for you." And he saw me and he was like, I was wearing my mask. By that time, we were in this full throttle into COVID. And I removed my mask and I saw an expression change. And he's like, it's like you very soft face and this characters of Atish and you want to play the antagonist. You mind if we do a few look tests? Can you do a reading? I was like, whatever you want to do to get you clarity. And but then eventually it didn't happen because we jammed for 2-3 days. He narrated the script to me, and finally he said, "Listen, I don't want to look the audition. I think we are kind of on the same frequency of how we see Atish." And that's when I met Aditya Chopra, and then the rest is history.
How does it feel to be part of this spy club now?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love the fact that, firstly, Tiger franchise has been a big fan of it over the years, and of course the spy universe, larger-than-life films with grand spectacle with huge action set pieces and very strong antagonist characters.
Right.
Interesting.
Right. But when it's a spy universe, YRF, Salman Khan, there's a lot going on with the film.
Yes.
How do you ensure that you hold your own? Were you ever worried about that?
Initially, I wasn't worried about it, but when I heard that they want to take me as an antagonist in Tiger, I was like, will I get my place in the sun here? Because two very iconic characters of Tiger and Zoya, and will Atish find a place in that? But when I heard the script, I was like, yeah, of course, it's a fantastic arc for a character, and I was like, yeah, let's do this.
Do you watch spy franchise films internationally? Are there
Yes, I
any
do.
that? Yeah.
Yes, I do. I'm a big fan of the Bond series, Kingsman. Yeah, I love the whole larger than life, Mission Impossible. They are theatrical experiences. Like you wouldn't want to ruin it for yourself by watching those on a small screen. So that is why it's so important right now to drive people to theaters. This is how you can do it.
Right.
It gives them that big visuals, big sound,
Right.
that full theatrical experience.
Right.
So that's important.
Right. Now, of course, you've delivered many blockbusters. You've seen your fair share of hits, massive ones, musical hits, and all of that. Thriller films with the kind of roles that you've done. But the numbers that we see now in terms of box office, it's something we probably didn't even imagine 5 years ago.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
Yeah. I mean, they've quadrupled past, at least in this year itself.
Yeah.
With SRK's come back with Pathan, Jawan, Gadar.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Gadar was such a outlier in the sense that I don't think people felt. I mean, they knew that it's, of course, this is an iconic film like Gadar coming out, but suddenly it does those kind of numbers, and you're like, we were just talking about the 100 crore club 2-3 years ago, 4-5 years ago, and now it's reached 400, 500, 300. So it's great that there's so much purchasing power when you thought that we'd lost the audience 2 years ago after COVID.
Yes.
And suddenly all that business, that lull phase, it's kind of just gone away, it's vanished, and they just come out with such a ferocity. People come to theatres, and then that people are willing to watch films. It has to be, you have to give them an experience. They will come to theatres. You can't just put a blanket statement saying that the audiences are not interested in watching theatrical films anymore when there was a lull.
Right.
Now they want to see it. You just have to give them the experience.
Right. But you're also not new to doing franchises. You've been part of, say, Murderers, all of that, right? Do you think there's a certain appeal, that there's a certain guarantee sort of that the audience will come?
There is a guarantee. There's a certain audience will come, but at the same time, it's a trap. Sometimes that guarantee makes makers complacent, and sometimes that can be your own undoing. So that is just a bonus having a sequel tag on a film. Ultimately, your whole idea of doing a sequel or a trilogy or whatever is to kind of outdo, in a sense, or better the earlier part. I remember reading somewhere about the story of Top Gun, Tom Cruise almost for 20 years, for so many years, he just kept on rejecting scripts for Top Gun 2. Because he said it's a trap because there's so many expectations for an iconic
Yes.
film like Top Gun
Yes.
1 that if Top Gun 2 didn't exceed that or go beyond, if they didn't push the boundaries, there was no point doing it. And that's exactly what they did with Top Gun 2. And it paid huge dividends.
Any of your older franchise films that you would like to see revived?
Jannat,
Um,
Awarapan.
Definitely. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. But talking about Jannat, Awarapan and all those films at that point of time, there's obviously a certain appeal that you had that really struck a chord with the audience. Do you think these days filmmaking has changed a little and those kind of films and those kind of characters are not really being made anymore? And the kind of music that always used to be associated with
Yeah,
those
yeah.
films, we don't really see that genre being
We don't-
explored
we
so
don't, yeah.
much.
I wouldn't say that that won't work right now. It probably will have to be a bit reconfigured for today's times and tastes. But I think that's a deadly combination. You have a love story, a thriller, you have great music. That's always a winning combination. It's just that you need the team to come together
Yes.
to make a film like that
Yes.
happen.
Yes.
And
Do those conversations happen with those makers at
yeah,
this
of
point?
course. I mean, I'm sure there's something around the corner, and inshallah there will be. But like I said, I don't want to jump into something just because it was tried and tested.
Right.
I don't want people to turn around and say, okay, it's seeming like more of the same of what you did earlier. There has to be something new and unique to at least that kind of genre of cinema for this time, to bring something fresh and young.
Right, right. Also to connect with the audience now, we are constantly
Youth.
talking about Gen Z.
Yeah, Gen Z
And yeah, but they have not really probably watched those films unless
yeah. Or
So-
they must have seen it on OTT or
yes,
on satellite.
yes. That'll be
Yeah.
interesting. You're also talking about new ventures. You're also venturing into South film this year with
Yes.
OG. Was that kind of also because Pan India is
Yeah.
the big thing
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
So
No, it's an interesting project, and now it's all pan India. I don't think we shouldn't segregate it as different industries. I think there are these, although it's being made by the Telugu industry, there
Right.
are actors from different
right,
areas of the country coming in, different industries, film industries in the country coming in and making this film happen, which is great because you get a bit of their audience, you get a bit of that audience, and it's interesting because that also is a huge film, big budget, interesting one, and yeah, I'm excited. It's going to come out early next year.
right. You've never really shied away from doing, say, a grey character. Almost all of your characters, even though
Yeah.
you're the hero,
Yeah.
there were some grey shades,
Great
right?
chances, yes.
What is the fun in, really?
Yeah, it's a bit of it being thrust upon me because I think I looked kind of unconventional in that sense, and people felt that okay, if you can't really box him into the typical hero, let's do something new and unique with him.
Right.
So there was born this very different kind of character or characters on screen that suited me, suited I guess my looks and my personality of a guy who looks a little wicked, a guy who looks a little devious, but who's got his heart in the right place. And there's a redemption. The film is a story of redemption, and it's a very unique kind of graph with great music.
Yeah.
So
It's
all
almost
those
like you
elements
created
became,
a new genre
yeah,
of.
it became, all these elements came together to make a very distinct experience, which is not seen by the audience members before that.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of feedback on social media because people want to see you in
Yeah.
those films? Do you?
People keep telling me, the few films they want to see me again is Awarapan. That being an iconic film
Yes.
that became huge
Yes.
way after the release on satellite and torrent and
Yes,
DVDs and all that.
Yes.
And after that, there's Jannat being another one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Imran, you've also, this is the first time I'm meeting you, this is totally my perception, but you also seem like the kind of an actor who's not really trying too hard to be seen all the time.
Yeah.
These days everybody has to be on social media, post constantly, be seen, be packed and all of that. You don't do all of that. Is it deliberate or, you just
it's
want
a little,
to...
it's a little deliberate. It's there are some actors who are not at all on social media,
Right.
but I'm kind of midway in
Right,
that. I
right.
like to be there, but I don't put up too many things that are personal.
Yes.
It's only film related and stuff, and that's by design. That's just who I am. I don't like to plaster around in front of everyone my personal life because it is personal for a reason.
But you
But
did
again,
talk
each
about
for their
your
own.
sons.
Each for their own.
Yeah,
And then there's the paparazzi frenzy that has certainly gripped this nation in the past 5 years, which is kind of interesting. It's interesting for people who like that. I mean, I'm not, again, I don't want to like be the person saying that, okay, this is, I'm too cool for this, and it's each their own again. I feel that there's a certain enigma to you if you keep yourself exclusive to films when they come out and constantly blasting yourself through all these avenues into people's homes every day, day after day, diligently. What is the appeal
Right,
when someone sees you in a film?
right,
What is the appeal when they see you playing a character on screen? So that's my take on it. People
right,
might beg to differ from that, but then of course that's their prerogative.
right, right.
So,
How much of interaction did you have with Salman on the sets,
a
like
lot.
beyond the
A lot.
on-screen?
Yeah, we
Because
chat about anything, everything under the sun, and it's interesting. He's a very cool guy to be around. There's some actors that you just can feel comfortable talking about anything, and Salman is that. He is what he is. He doesn't project anything else. He's very effortless in his own skin, and I like that, and I like his honesty, and we have a good equation that way. So it was interesting, and we both Bandra boys.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of
Lot to
conversations
talk about that.
lots of things. I mean, no one specific thing, but yeah, it was interesting.
Right, right. You talk about fitness or
Yeah,
stuff
hell
like
yeah.
that.
The
Yes.
fitness
Because-
and the whole gamut. Films, his life when he was coming up, his home bandstand, Bandra when he was growing up, his growing up years. His dad Salim Saab has worked with people in my family, so that equation. So yeah, it was interesting.
Great, great. Tiger 3 is out. You've also done some work on OTT before this. What I'm trying to understand, what is Emraan Hashmi's, where is your head at in the sense of the kind of projects you're looking at and stuff and the kind of work you want to do?
I am looking at a little bit more of mass cinema right now
Okay,
because that's a constituency I've always had.
right.
But there was by design and very deliberate part on me to kind of deviate into more performance roles. But I want to come back to a little more large scale mass films like this. Um, and yeah, time and again, I mean, there are times when there would be something interesting on OTT that might come about that I would be open to, of course. I did OTT back 5 years ago at Bar of Blood. So I'm not averse to that fact or that option. For me, it's always giving the audience something fresh and new.
Right,
So
right.
that's been my goal.
Right. But also, you earned a lot of critical acclaim with films like, say, a Shanghai or a Dirty Picture. Those are some like really gems in your filmography, right? Again, something like that is probably. Do you see those kind of scripts coming your way, or
Yeah, but those scripts have become more OTT now
that's what
because
I
they're
thought.
more concept, more story driven.
Yes, yes.
It's
a bit of a risk putting-
that the rate of success with those films, although it could have been 10 years ago, right now it's become so tough to get people to go to the theaters to watch films like that because they're getting those very same films on OTT
Right.
for a monthly subscription. Why would they spend whatever in a theater? So keep that for theatrical experiences. Of course, if it's a film like Shanghai or I did a film called Tigers, not Tiger,
Yes.
which is again
It's an international-
international film.
Yes.
I would do that, but then again, it has to be a good exclusive OTT film release. Can't really, or it could be just exclusively festivals or released internationally. That kind
Right,
of thing.
right. That way, it seems like a lot of the new things that like a lot of actors are going into Hollywood now. A lot of OTT obviously is in boom. It looks like you've already done that, been
Yeah,
there, done
yeah,
those experiments and all of that.
Yeah.
So does it sometimes get a little tough to really excite you with a project?
No, I was saying this to someone else the other day that you have a bank of work and it becomes even more difficult. People ask me, why are you doing such less films?
Yeah.
Because I used to do 4 or 5 films a year
Yes.
when I started off almost 10 years.
Yes.
But I'm like, it's challenging because you've played so many variety of things. So when someone comes to you for a film, there's a whole bank that you have to kind of not repeat.
Repeat.
So that's why it seems like become a little like more exclusive, especially if you're an actor like me who wants to present something new to the audience. That's why it's more quality and novelty of the work that we put in rather than just constantly churning out film after film.
Right, right. I hope those scripts keep coming to you and exciting you and all of that. It's always a pleasure watching you on screen and lovely talking to you also today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Cheers. Thank you.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.